Alright, collectors, Optical 20 once again for another Hot Toys video review. This time it's Falcon from Captain America the Winter Soldier, and you can buy this figure at BigBadToyStore.com. Just click the link on the description, and I believe they're the only one currently who sells this at at a discounted price. It's pretty much sold out everywhere unless you want to pay premium at eBay or so. And Big Bad is pretty good when there's defects and whatnot, so you can return it to them. I know Sharktimus had some trouble with his pants, so make sure when you buy this figure, buy them to a reputable dealer. Like big. I would say your option right now is just Big Bad Toy Store. I don't even think Sideshow has them. But yeah, moving on to the box. As you can see, I missed the entire box opening, so that's fine. It's boxed. Who cares? But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's one of those, if you've seen my other videos from the Winter Soldier line, they pretty much follow the same pattern, with a Falcon or lettering on the side, a shoebox type of box, slip-on cover. So you can see Anthony Mackie or Falcon here with his figure counterpart, looking pretty good, looking pretty sharp. And yeah, you know what, the box is a lot smaller than I thought it would be, considering the size of his wings. And he does come with the flight stand, not flight stand, but the dynamic stand as well. I was expecting a bigger box, a la Mandarin or so, but it's nice because it's easier to store. It's a bit heavy, but it's not your problem because it's when they ship it. Big Bad is pretty good at shipping rates anyway. But yeah, it's a pretty decent size box, and the design is okay. I'm a little baffled about his costume that he's wearing here. As you can see, it wraps around on the side, and you can see the Falcon lettering kind of like transparent or so on the side. But yeah, he's wearing a t-shirt, which is I thought it's something that you can pull off. Maybe you could, maybe I'm not brave enough to remove his vest, but I won't because the vest looks pretty cool by itself. But I thought this is something that he can pull on easily. And moving into the accessories, he does come with a lot of accessories, but we'll start off as normal with the hands, which is something customary with Hot Toys. He comes with open palm hands with this fingered gloves. It's nicely detailed. As you can see there, it's a bit bulky, kind of reminds me of Snake Eyes or the Dark Knight Batman. Nice texturing there. So you can see there's variation of textures. And yeah, that's open palm hands. You can also get this trigger finger hands. He comes with two because he has two guns. And also he comes with this holding hand, because on his wings he does have this bar that he needs to hold, but you gotta be careful on that because I've seen reviews where it breaks. So you gotta read the manual. I didn't include it here because every Hot Toys has a manual anyway. Even Wolverine has a manual. But yeah, and this is the wrist. I don't know how you call this, wrist guard or wrist peg that he does have. You just slip it on like watch on his wrist. You take off the hand and the wrist. I'm not gonna show it to you. You've probably seen it before. But yeah, he does comes with two of these. One that comes with a figure right away. It's the retracted one, and this one has this little peg, as you can see, sticking out. And this one is articulated. It moves back and forth for the guns. And this is the gun that he comes with, a little submachine gun, nicely detailed. But it doesn't cock back, which I'm surprised. And the magazine doesn't pop out either, which is not a big deal. But as I've said, this is a $250 figure. I didn't get it for $250. It's currently on sale on Big Bad, but it's not. Even there's normally like a like a iron sight here that can flip up or whatnot, but this one doesn't, and it's not a big deal. I don't think anyone uses it, but that's what separates Hot Toys from other figures. Those level of details. And I don't know, maybe I guess they said they already spent enough accessories on this one, but then again, at the same time, we spent $250 on this one, so come on, Hot Toys. And yeah, so I'm just showing it to you. So you insert it here. Yep, so it just slides back and forth. And as you can see, it does derail for some reason. So how you put it in is there's just a rail that you're gonna follow here. So you slide it in, and yep, it's really self-explanatory. But I myself would prefer if there's a stopper, so it would not get derailed. But I get it why there isn't. But I don't know. It's just personal preference. And one accessory that I do really like is this goggles right here. It's the one that he used in the movie every time he flies. So this is one of those standard, I guess, goggles for flying. I don't know if it's Oakley or whatever the brand is, but it's nicely detailed. It fits perfectly on his head. There's a warning on the manual saying that don't leave this on for too long because it might create staining. Me myself, I have Catwoman, and I just checked it, and it does haven't leave any paint stains or whatever like that as of yet. But maybe if you live in a hotter area or a more humid condition, it might. So be careful on that. Be mindful. This is his backpack, which is pretty cool. This is, I guess, the coolest part of his accessory because you can have him wearing this one with or without the wings. So that's one accessory that he does come with that's always gonna be with him, in my opinion. And it's pretty cool, nicely detailed. It's not heavy, so it's not he's gonna tilt forward or backward because he's wearing this. It's heavy. It's made out of plastic. It's really light. That's where the battery compartment is. As you can see how he wears it, there's a bunch of pegs. You'll see it right away. So what you do is you just line those pegs up and then slide them down. And this is how you're gonna open up the light up function. I hate this one. There should be some sort of a handle or whatnot because it's magnetized, but come on, man, you gotta have some fingernails or something, which I don't have. And you open it up, really nicely detailed right there. It's a light up function. And also the details on the lights, you probably won't see it on the camera because it's too quick, but there's some tiny holes that kind of represent the thrusters, which is, yeah, you can see it right there. It's pretty cool. I just wish the light was a little brighter so you can see it even if the lights are open, because right now it's pretty much useless unless it's dark. Yeah, if the lights are open, at least they would shine something on the floor or something like that, but yeah, whatever. It's Hot Toys, you can't really expect too much from them. But yeah, as far as the wings itself, this is the selling point for me for this figure. I've never seen a figure, I guess, in this scale before. As far as just an individual figure, I've seen the closest one comes with a bigger accessory is a New Goblin for me. They both come in with stands. Goblin doesn't have the flights. That was the dynamic stand back in the day, those clear plastic rods. But this one is just massive. It does have these wings who almost measures at 2 feet tall when they're fully deployed. It's really light. It's made out of plastic, so which is a big plus, because can you imagine this die-cast? He'll tilt all over the place, which is not advisable at all. But even though it's plastic, it's not cheaply made. You can't bend it. I wish you kind of could bend it though. That might be a great idea, but the quality might suffer if that's the case. It is articulated to a degree, not so much. I wish it would have retracted more. Maybe in the Civil War version they would do that, but right now it's not. But it's still great. And as you can see, this is his stand: Captain America, Winter Soldier, Falcon, and the distressed look. It looks like an airport runway with a shield logo on it. And as you know, this dynamic stance only comes with those carton displays, so you can switch them up. But I wish there would have been something a little better, like the New Goblin ones, which is, it looks so much classier than the cardboard box ones. And moving on to the figure itself, his camo pants, his knee pads, awesome. The knee pads doesn't restrict any of his movements. He has double jointed knees, and all these buckles and zippers on his I don't know what you call it, vest, or I'm assuming this is supposed to be a part of his backpack, so it looks like he straps them on. Obviously it's not, but you kind of simulate that look, and it's really amazing. I just wish you can take this off. Maybe you could, I just don't have the courage to take him off. There's a zipper in here, and it looks like he's wearing an undershirt of some sort. I'm not gonna be taking that off anytime soon, since I don't want to mess it up. It says Air National Guard. His sleeves is folded. He doesn't have a double jointed elbow for aesthetics, obviously, to hide the joints, kind of like Bane. This is the gloves that I'm talking about. See, you don't see any joints. Pretty awesome how they did that. They have some buckles on his pants as well. There's a lot of details on this figure. Some tiny minor details that I do love. And as you can see, his boots nicely made. I noticed this from Hot Toys every time that they have a secondary figure, and I wish more people would buy this kind of figure because he looks amazing. Honestly, he's not the most popular one, obviously he's not the main character, but it looks like they put more effort into these figures, you know, the amount of accessories and all that, because they know they're not gonna sell as well. I just wish they put the same effort to, you know, more popular figures, so we get the same treatment. Like with Iron Man, they know they're gonna sell anyway, so they're not even, you know, we're gonna repaint him different colors. So, but this guy, look at all the amount of details on this guy. Pretty sweet, and imagining for the same amount of money as the same as Heartbreaker. But this is completely, or not even Heartbreaker, because he's pretty much a new mold. But yeah, he's the same mold as Tank now. But this guy is completely new figure. You know, they made it from scratch. It's awesome. You see all the scratches on his I don't want to call it his elbow pads, but yeah, something on his elbows, and that is the wrist peg that you can replace on his side. There's a lot of details on his side as well. Love it. Look at all those moving parts. They're not, even though they're you know, just there for aesthetic purposes. Like I said, I do like the military look. I'm happy that they went this route. Even though I like the comic book version of Falcon, I probably wouldn't bought it, or I probably would have bought it and sell it. This guy, I think I'm gonna keep it. Him, I don't like keeping secondary figures from a line that I just kind of like. You know, like the Avengers. You see that I didn't even notice that he has some weathering on his boots and his knee pads right there. And his backpack, this is a backpack that he has when it's on. You see, it's pretty seamless. You can't see anything on his back that tells you that, hey, it's not attached to that figure. But this backpack is really cool because you're gonna display him with a backpack regardless, whether with wings or retracted wings. This is the retracted wings version. Those things on the sides are removable, which I would show you later on, and then that's where you're gonna insert the wings. And I just show you the light up feature. I guess I'm gonna show it to you again. So yeah, this is how the light up feature works. It's really subtle, you know, especially I got a lot of lights in this studio, but yeah, when you close it up, it's a bit more dominant, the lights at least. But I wish they would have been a little bit more stronger. So you can see I already turned off most of the lights, but I have no lights whatsoever, and they're barely touching anything. I wish they would have shined more. I don't know if they used LED. I probably used LEDs on this one. But yeah, this is how you're gonna attach the wing. So I just showed you one wing attached there, and it's a really big wing, by the way. And this is the retracted one where you kind of fold it. This is the most that you can do with the wings. You can't fold them. I saw Bar on, or his name now is Username, if I'm not mistaken, on the Sideshow forums, where he modified it where it can fit on a D-Top. I gotta check that out, but I gotta buy a separate set of wings on that. So this is how you're gonna remove. This is the illusion that he's making, that it's retracted. But yeah, you can take that off, and you're gonna insert the wing. The red is always out, as you can see those little details on the outside of the wings, and you'll see it. There's a handle. It's supposed to be on the inside, so you can't mistake it being upside down or anything. So it's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to insert. You know, you don't need any tools. You just need to insert them nicely. And once I'm gonna zoom it out. This is the retracted version. This is as much fold as you're gonna get, and once you fully deploy them, it takes up a lot of space. It's its biggest selling point and its weakness as well, because it's gonna be hard to display this guy with his wings fully deployed like this, because for A, it's not gonna fit on a D-Top, and B, even if you display it outside, it still takes up a lot of space. And I just wish this wings would fold just one more going down, one more click going down, and I think it would fit on a D-Top right after that. But like I said, check out Bar's instruction, or Username's instruction. I guess he has some, but I would personally buy different sets of wings if I'm gonna do that. But yeah, this is the head sculpt of Anthony Mackie. I love that actor, man. Any movie that he plays onto, it's spot on. I love his characters and all that stuff, but particularly Falcon on this movie, I think he portrays him well. I don't remember if he showed up in Age of Ultron. Maybe he did really briefly. I know towards the end as the new Avengers or so. That's one of the reasons why I picked him up. Him and War Machine, because they're military grade, I plan on picking up, which I already have Iron Patriot, so I'm gonna skip on War Machine. So you can see he even has a lineup on his hair. His goatee is nicely done. He looks like, he even has the fade on the back. He looks like Anthony Mackie. The sculpt is great, but there's something about it. I don't know if the texturing of the skin, something about it that kind of looks dated. Don't get me wrong, it's there. He looks like Anthony Mackie. I love it. I love the sculpt. I think it's almost spot on, but it's something. I don't know what it is, honestly. I don't know. Is it the texture of the skin is too smooth? I don't know. Maybe that's the case. But yeah, it's. I love the fact that you can pull off different looks from him. He even has this dead eye stare, which a lot of collectors, I've noticed that they didn't like it, but you know, I'm happy with it. I wish he would have came with a different sculpt, like maybe instead of giving us a what do you call this goggles, a second head sculpt, which is a screaming one, or because he looks bored, and when you put him on a flying pose, it looks bored flying, and I don't see anyone get bored by flying. But maybe when you put this on, the dead eye stare is not much of a factor anyway. As you can see here, it's kind of translucent. You can see his eyes through it. It changes his looks, you know, drastically. So there's three looks that you can pull off. You can put the goggles on his forehead. So that's one look that you can pull off, or no goggles at all, or if you want to be risky and put goggles on it. And like I mentioned earlier, it says there that do not leave the goggles on at all times, because it might create paint fading on the head sculpt itself, which is a risk that, you know, you're gonna take. I might or might not display him, but I'm gonna, you know, vary my poses. And he stands really well too with, I'm going to throw in some different poses here. If you've seen the pattern of my videos, I always do this. Just standing up, not up and down, but you know, this is the wingspan that you're going to get. I didn't measure it exactly, but I know for a fact it won't fit on a D12. I tried it. Unless you modify the wing, like I said. So either you're going to display him outside of a D12, or you're going to display him with no wings inside of a D12. I myself found a way to display him outside, you know, with some of my Avengers. The trouble with that is it's not protected from dust, but at the same time I want to get use of the wings. You know, I bought this guy because of his wings too. That draw me into this figure, and I want to utilize those wings. So this is him fully deployed with his wings and with his stand. The dead eye look doesn't really bother me. You know, I think the other wing is kind of folded, you know, so it looks like, I just wish the wings would fold a little bit inside or outside, so when he's turning and all that stuff. But I guess that's too much to ask because they're made out of plastic. Maybe later on they can be made out of I don't know, something with wires on them. But then again, the quality would suck if that's the case. You know, they're probably gonna do like a soft plastic or something like that, or cloth material or something like that, which kind of sucks. You know what? I'd rather have this, to be quite honest with you. And also, what I was saying earlier about the new Falcon that I've seen on Civil War, didn't like the pink, you know, linings on him. I mean, if you do, the one thing that I think on the Civil War they would include his pet Falcon. But I don't know how they're gonna do it. Maybe a mechanical pet or something like that, because he's pretty much military grade here. And this is one cool look that that I'm gonna do on my display, because it looks like he's flying. And I opened up, you can see his thrusters are open. It uses this pretty much the same batteries as the normal ones. It might be bigger. No, I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same batteries. They're already inserted in there, so you're just gonna remove the plastic tab to keep to prevent it from draining. I hope it doesn't explode inside, but it's pretty cool, you know, especially if you have a turntable and you have a pretty big space. It's this pose right here is gonna be my go-to pose when I display him, but he has to be elevated because of the wingspan and everything. So if you have other figures, you know, underneath him, make sure that, you know, you don't hit him. But yeah, I love the fact that you can pull this off. It's just the grabber on his waist pretty much grabs into his his armors, and I hope it doesn't scratch him. But yeah, this is pretty much the look that you're gonna be putting him on if you decided to put him on a case or a detail, unless you have a really big cabinet, which is good for you if you do. I don't. But yeah, which is not a bad look itself. See, he's still looking badass. Honestly, like I said, I love this military look. This up and down pose is still working for me. I love this look. This figure is surprisingly a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought it was gonna be one of those gimmick ones. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of categorizing him the same thing as New Goblin. A lot of accessories, but a lot better in terms of quality and head sculpt. The character is a secondary character, so if you're planning to assemble the new Avengers, maybe you would buy, Scarlet Witch and Vision and what's his name, Black Panther, and I know he's gonna come out at one point. But him, War Machine with Vision, it would look awesome too. But for me, I probably wouldn't get Vision unless it's dirt cheap. But for this guy, I'm really happy that I picked him up. And then if you want to add him to your collection, like I said, click the link on the description. There's a link for Big Bad Toy Store. So if there's any defects, you can return them right away. So thank you for watching. Until next time.